taking part and the reading obviously that comes before that is far more likely to determine the outcome of the skill than the technical level. Perhaps I'll perhaps go further into that as we go. Tactics. Tactics are, in the real basic sense, how we work together to achieve the team outcome. It's really that simple. And volleyball, on that basis, is the ultimate team game. No player ever has the ball in his hand. No player can control the game. So you can say Setters control the game, but they maybe touch the ball 25% of the time. Maybe you're really good at controlling the first ball. So nobody can control the game. Volleyball is the ultimate team game. For any kind of tactics, the first thing that we do, this is where I've updated the notes every year, is that the players, all of the players, need to understand, and understand is a really key word here, their individual role in every team situation. So this is the first thing. It's also the most difficult thing because there are different understanding is a different level than knowing where the coach told me to go. For tactics to be effective in the broader sense of team play, everybody on the team has to be looking at the same thing, give or take 5 centimetres. So they need to be, the 3 receivers need to be watching exactly the same thing so they know how to respond to the cues so they can make a team decision. So all of the essentially to the same decision at the same time. And obviously this is where we start to get a little bit complex. So we have 6 guys on the court who are all looking at the same thing. They see the same thing, they interpret it in the same way, and they collectively make a team decision at the same time and act together. Except that in volleyball, I guess in all sports, but when they act together, everybody does something slightly different according to the role that they understand, that they have to understand. And the one that we have the most problem with, for example, is the role of position 6. So in my idea of volleyball, the position 6 is responsible for everything that happens there and is not responsible for anything that happens there. In defence, this is. And it often happens that position 6 is the receiver. A receiver is often the guy that reads the play the most, the best, and he'll end up here somewhere playing some ball that has nothing to do with him. So he's read the game, made a decision, acted on the decision, but he didn't understand his role in the team, and so he's actually got in the way of everybody else and caused confusion. So, we follow so far? Like everything, practice is the key. So we have to practice tactics, reading, making decisions, acting together so that we come to understand what it is that we need to do in every given moment. And obviously, this is really complex and you can't do it step by step. You have to do it all at the same time. So that's what we're going to more or less do now. A couple of things before. So to do that, how do we practice? The answer to that is that we practice with 6 against 6. So if you walk into any of my practices after the first 30 minutes, say 40 to be safe, then there's a very high chance that you'll see 12 players on the court, because that's what we're practicing. Then after that, after we've understood or decided, depending on how you want to look at it, that we need to have 12 players on the court to practice reading, understanding, deciding and acting together, then we have to, it's not a random process. We don't just roll the balls out and have them play and eventually they'll work it out. This is still a coach driven, if you want to say it like that, this is still a coach driven process. It still happens under the direction of the coach. So let's see where we go from here. 12 guys on the court, in positions, in your positions. Is there any coach who wants to help me? Where should I do it from? Okay. It's okay, I got it. All right, so you're all in positions. So the first thing that we decide is what it is that we want to practice in the game. Okay, we'll talk about side out and stuff afterwards. So we want to practice what we want to practice with block, what we want to practice with attack, what we want to practice with defense. The starting point is basically the same every time. The difference is the instructions and the feedback that you give. So we will start with, you guys are pretty warm, we'll start with high ball hitting and say that that's the first thing that we want to practice. And then we think about, so go back one step. What we want to practice becomes the condition of the first action of the rally. So we're playing 6 against 6. We want to learn to read and decide. So every rally that we have, we play out. We never let the ball drop. We never stop the rally. We always play out to the end. So what we want to practice, the condition of the drill, the condition that we apply is on the very first action. So for right now, the condition that we want is high ball, and we start with a high ball from position 4. And who's in position 4? I like this guy because I was that guy, the guy who went straight to position 4 knowing that he was going to get the first attack. So how we put the ball in, there's a couple of different possibilities, but for now, we put the ball in from the coach directly to the setter. The setter will set a high ball. We'll start with 2 blocks, is my condition. And what I'm looking at in the first instance and the feedback I'm giving is the high ball set, the high ball attack, and the high ball block. Okay, this part, I'll do a few and then we'll talk. Okay, so first thing that I'm going to say is that I'd like position 4 to start inside the court a little bit, all right, so that we don't get caught out on the ball that drops short. So one more here. Normally in my practice, I never stop for any ball handling, but I'll stop for net touches. Okay, so we're in position 2. We go for position 2 now. Is attacking, same thing. Nice block. Okay. This work is non-competitive work. This is not scored. There's a few reasons for this. One of them is that I can't speak for anybody else. I want the players to have the freedom to make mistakes. Well, I'll rephrase that. I want them to have the freedom to explore the boundaries of what they're able to do without the constraint of not making an error. Right? As soon as we have some competition, we start to think about errors. And I never ever want the players to think about errors. I only ever want them to think about making plays. And this is one big part of that. The next thing about this kind of work is that we have a lot of opportunities for correction of technique, because we're still working on technique everywhere. We have the opportunity to correct gameplay and decision making. We can repeat different actions within the rally, and something else that I can't think of right now, but we'll go again. Let's do the same thing, and we'll start to think about correction. So let's go high ball to 4. Inside, nice hit. One more, position 4. Good. Okay, he's made an error. I want to repeat the same action, so he has a chance to make the same ball. Good, set. Yes. It's position 6, being somewhere where he's not supposed to be. Okay, we missed the defensive opportunity, so we're going to replay the rally from his first contact. After that, you're free to do whatever you want. Perfect ball, and play. Yeah, same ball, repeat the first tempo. Nice. Ooh, okay. Let's change here, front back. So we don't have the same guys hitting all the time. Oh, you don't have another position 4? Let's take another position 4 from the other side. Let's change. Okay, let's go to the same one from position 4. High ball. Nice set. Okay, all right, one more. Good. Nice hit, perfect. Okay, so that's the first condition, one condition that we can have. The next condition, if there's anything that you want to try. So we're still working a little bit on attack. We'll do first tempo now. So first tempo with only one block. Yep. Let's work at being a little bit more space with the setter. Oh. Same thing again. Nice ball. One more. Let's go block it. You know it's coming, you've got to block him. There we go. Yeah. Okay, so there's the next condition. Let's do a fast ball to position 2. So you can, yeah. Okay, so this one will be, the first action we'll do single block. Okay, one block, we defend against one block. Go.
One.
And the next one. Yes. Good cover. One more. Wait. Okay, we have one block, now we work 2 blocks. So, when we have one block, we're obviously practicing setting and spiking. The feedback for this blocker will be his reading of the spiker. So I can give him now feedback on his how he looks at the spiker when he changes his eye direction, where he looks, okay, because we're always talking about decision making. Now we have 2 blocks, so the middle blocker is practicing also his footwork and he's practicing his hand position. Okay, so that's what we want here, 2 blocks. Yep. Okay, and of course the spiker's practicing spiking against 2 blocks. Here we go. You know it's 2 blocks, alright? Let's go. Let's crush one here. There we go, that's it. Alright, perfect. Okay, what's another condition that we can practice? Yeah, let's practice pipe. Guys are all over it. Alright, we do the first one. You can run the first tempo, but you don't have to. Well, the first one is 1 blocker, only the middle. Oh, okay, I saw defense not moving there, so we play from the first action. Go. Wait. Wait. That was too easy. It was a ball that he didn't go for in defense, so if I throw it straight to him, this ball's not sticking. So go. Yes. And go. Alright, so what are we up to? This time pipe. This time it's 2 blocks. But you guys decide which 2. The best way to do it is if you don't tell him. Yep. Again. After a while they work out some kind of hand signal, it's a little bit quicker. Oh, had a fake block. There's a net touch there, but we'll keep playing. Play. Good. Having said that, we stop for net touches. We won't. So, the next one. Let's let's have this change sides. So right now we've got some simple things. He always wants to slide. Okay, so now we can start to practice some tactics. So the first tactic that I want to practice is when the setter's moving back, the normal reaction is that position 4 moves back with the setter, which means normally that the middle blocker moves because there's a gap space and the setter sets to position 4 1 against 1, or he sets first tempo into a seam. So I want to practice that position 4 stays in that position when the setter moves back. The middle stays, position 4 stays. So I'm going to put the ball in where he has to move back, and he can set whatever he wants for now. But the specific feedback now is for the blockers. I tricked him by making it perfect. Yes, yes. Good. Play. I keep waiting for them to miss some play during the rally that I can repeat to give in some teaching moment, but they keep not missing anything. Hopefully, somebody will go to sleep in a minute and I'll be able to show you the next thing on the list. I'd love to coach this team, brother coach. Good. Okay, next condition. I'm going to get them eventually. We'll get the ball at the 3 metre line. The setter can choose what he wants. Now the work is for the middle blocker to read. Okay, I want the middle blocker to read, and we go back to the very first point. We have to be specific about what we want the middle blocker to look at. What do you have to look at? That's a pretty good answer. Is there a better answer? 100 coaches, probably one of you knows the answer. Obviously you're all shouting out, but I can't hear. The answer is to watch the setter's hands. So we get it caught into a lot of the time. We tell the players to read. What we have to do is tell them what to look at so that they can then read. So middle blockers should be, all blockers should be watching specifically the setter's hands, watching for where he makes the movement, because every setter in the world will change their hand position where they want to set, forward, back, first tempo. Really good setters, the change is small. I reckon probably guys should be able to reach it. Sorry. Okay, but that's what we're watching. All blockers. So here we go. We're at 3 metres. Alright, I got to get something. So it's the defender not going for the ball. Let's go. Just get it. Stop. Stop. So when we do this kind of repetition to repeat one mistake, we're also giving information on who should have played that ball. Okay, so we put the ball in and everybody gets ready, but the feedback that we're giving is not only to the individual player, it's to the group about who has to play the ball, has to have played the ball. Alright, in this case, position 1 needs to have played this ball, so he has to play the repeat action. So we're reading now. Watch his hands and go. Good read. Yes. Okay, let's repeat this high ball. So I'll put the ball over for first contact to play in the same position. No, stop. So I want to repeat it. Normally I would have another coach over there, but, so here, please. So play the first ball to the same place. we go. Good. Good. Okay, in the middle blocker. In the rally, did you watch the setter's hands again? Great work. One more. Watch the setter's hands. Oh. Okay, here he's made a deliberate error to give me a chance to repeat the action again. I was a little eye signal between the two of us, you guys didn't see. Yes. One important point when we're working with the middles on reading the setter is that the feedback that we give, the way that we organise the rally, the way that we organise the feedback is that all of the feedback is on, should be on, whether he makes a correct read. One of the problems, I shouldn't speak through the net, one of the issues that we will have is that when we play, players are thinking about the outcome. And we have to make sure that the feedback stays with the action that we want to stay. So in this, we're playing, even if we're not scoring, he still wants to make a block, and so he's still going to try and beat the setter for speed. So we can set up, in this case, a scoring system that's not competition, but it's just that he has to make 5 reads in a row. If he misses one read, if he jumped on the first tempo like the one before, then we go back to 0. So that the feedback, even though we're playing volleyball, the feedback is on the specific technical component that we want to practice. So let's go to, we'll do another action here. This time the condition is the setter can play either first tempo or back. And I want 2 blockers on both balls. Okay? So I know this guy's smart, so the first thing that he's told the middle is I want you to run the long quick, right? Yeah, okay. So it's not my first rodeo. So then, okay, normally we let him do 1 and then we say, okay, you can only play the close, quick and back. I think the coach of this team should be making this presentation, not me. So first tempo, front or back or behind. 2 blockers. And we have to have 3 actions in a row with with both blockers. That's 1. Yeah. Ball. Okay, I want to repeat this high ball set. So I'll give it to you. You play it out here, and I want you to bump set the ball, a good ball. Okay? Alright, blockers have 2. They need 3 in a row. Oh, play. Never stop playing. Okay, here. The feedback that I would be giving when the players are finished, I always let the players discuss the rally that's just happened, because this is part of it. They have to be understanding the same thing and how they work together. Can you guys move? Because I've broken about 7 rules of communication here, but so the interactions, the exchange of information, the communication between the rallies by the players is really important, because what they're talking about, presumably, is what just happened, what they saw, how they need to react together. In the end, this is what they have to do. This is what they have to do it, not me. The exact feedback that I was going to give, so let's try to set this up. So go back to the positions over there. Okay, so pretty sure, if I remember rightly, the opposite was here, playing the first ball. Am I right? Okay, so the feedback I would be giving my team is that they need, all of the blockers need to recognise that the opposite, or position 2, is no longer in the attack. And so my middle blocker, my position 4 blocker can move, my middle blocker can move, that we create a different, advantageous situation on this side for us. So, as an example of the feedback I would be giving here. Alright, let's do this time, let's change sides again. Sorry. The new balls this time we're going to practice the long quick that we wanted to practice before, but the condition is long quick and ball to position 4. What do you guys call it? 31? 31? 31 and position 4. Same thing, three correct reads in a row. One. Without the net touch, gentlemen. That's 2. Good. Okay. This is my main, this drill and the 1,000 variations of it is my main teaching drill. This is the drill that I use to teach volleyball, to teach those things that are on the first part of the notes. There are more or less infinite variations, and it's all, the key point is the condition that you apply on the first action and the feedback that you give during the rally. Sorry, the feedback you give on what happens in the rally. The feedback includes the balls that you repeat, which balls you choose to repeat, and how you set up that situation. It's repeating technical actions, it's repeating decision-making situations, reading. About feedback while we're on the topic. One, I think, a really big improvement that I've made in my coaching in the last 2 years even, is the feedback that I give in this kind of work especially, but in all the work that we do in 6-on-6. And I didn't really want to do it because of this microphone. I'd start shouting and you guys would have to wear it. But the way that I've worked the feedback in is during the rally. So I'll be instructing, I guess is the best way to say it, what should be happening in the rally. So I'm not at the end of the rally saying that you should have done this. I'm watching. This is the other thing that I've got much better at, is not following the ball. I almost never watch the ball in practice. I'm watching the movements of the players and how they're reacting to the different situations. So, not perfect at it, but if I see somebody about to move out of position, then I can directly say, no, stay where you are. Position 6, move. Hopefully I'll use a name. Terrible at names though. use a name, Jono, go here. When the situation with that we repeated or that we talked about where the block didn't release, so I would be on the sidelines actually screaming at the guys some instruction. I don't want to say feedback because feedback by definition happens after the event. I think that this is really important. So not watching the ball, watching the way that the players move, how they're reacting with each other, and giving the information inside the drill, not at the end. Okay. Does anybody have any questions on this framework? Because it's so clear, or because you... Find 4 more players. I think that all gameplay has some value as gameplay. So 1 against 1, 2 against 2, 3 against 3, all variations. When you change the dimensions of the court though, you actually change the skill requirements. So then it's not technical training anymore. That's the weakness of it. If I had 8 players, I would probably do some version of just attacking half of the net, so that the setters are still setting the same ball, the spikers are still setting at the same part of the court. I can make the condition that the spiker has to spike cross court or has to spike line where the defenders are. So I can do it like that. Finding 4 extra players probably is the better answer though. Okay. There are different ways that you can put the first ball in. I give it directly to the setter a lot of the time. You can play the ball over the net for somebody to play as a free ball, as an easy reception. That changes the dynamics a little bit. It's especially helpful for first tempo because it's a different action and thought process for the middle blockers if they actually have to follow a reception. That's one of the big differences with giving the ball directly to the setter. If you give the ball directly to the setter though, there's a shorter time between the actions. So the conditioning component is a little bit different. If you put the ball over the net, there's longer time between actions, so conditioning is a little bit less, because that's all part of it too. If you have players who are skilled and that you can trust, you can get the player making the first contact to carry out the conditions that you want. So we had the reception at 3 meters, we had the reception in position 2, you can have the reception in 4, etc. It's better in some way if you have the libero playing the ball in that position. Then you have the rally unfold a little bit more as it would in a game. The negative part of that is that you have somebody practicing something that you would shout at them for if they did it in a game, which is why I said it needs to be somebody that you can trust who understands the difference between something that you might do in a drill. If you have good players, the really funny thing is that they find it hard to not pass it perfectly. So I've worked with some world-class liberos and I've asked them to do that, always play it at 2 meters from the net, and they can do it for 20 minutes, and once they get a little tired they start to pass perfectly. It's really annoying. question is that players don't talk to each other enough during the rally, and that if I'm giving instructions, whether that hinders the development of the communication. I don't know how to answer that question without upsetting everybody in the room. My personal opinion on this is that I don't care if my players talk during the rally. What I want the players to do is that first thing that's on the top of the notes. If the players are looking at the same thing, if they're interpreting it in the same way, if they're making the same decision, and they understand their roles, maybe I didn't put it in the right order, then they don't need to tell each other what they should be doing. Now, obviously, that's a really high level of understanding. So, I don't need my players to talk to each other all the time. There are, of course, and that covers, 90% of game situations where it's clear what everybody should be doing at the same time. There are the 10 where in practice you have to have some communication. I think, from my observation, is that the biggest reason that players don't call or talk to each other during the rally is because they actually don't know what they should be doing. So it's not that they're by nature quiet, it can be. It's not necessarily that they don't want to do what the coach tells them because the coach is always yelling at them to talk more. But it's actually because they're not sure what it is they're supposed to do. So my answer to that question would be, by giving instructions during the rally and making it clear, hopefully, if I'm doing my job, what everybody should be doing at every moment, then I give them the information that at some point they'll be able to communicate with each other on who should play the ball. Is that a good answer? Okay, good. Did I really upset everybody in the room? When I start to talk about communication and calling, normally upsets people. Yes? All of those things. Like I said, there's an infinite range of possibilities. So the question was, if I do A against B or best hitter against best blocker, as a general principle, I almost never play first six against second six. I always mixing the teams. When I'm choosing the teams and I spend time choosing the teams, I take into account who's playing with who. So sometimes, some days I want my opposite to play a lot with the setter because they're not feeling it with each other very well, or some middle with the setter, or some combination of receivers is one that I will often do. And you want your best hitter to play against your best blocker sometimes, and conversely, you want your best blockers to play against the best hitters. So I'm always mixing it up. All right, so we have 5 minutes. No problems for the whole second section. The next part, and there's an infinite combination of stuff you can do with that. Whatever tactics you want, whatever situations you want, you can do it in this form, I believe. The next part is the competition. The one thing that we haven't done anything about is, there's one thing we haven't done anything about is side out or serve or reception. So we've done a lot of playing volleyball and attack and block. So the second part of my practice is a wash drill, I guess is the easiest way to describe it. So let's get to our 6 against 6. You guys can serve. The first one that we're going to do, I'll just do 5 random wash drills off the top of my head. So it will be serve and a free ball to the receiving team. The receiving team needs both balls to get the point. Second ball. All right, 1-0. Rotate. Okay, the second one, the side out team needs to score a high ball to win the point. Go. Oh, wait. That's my shoulder. Serve again. That's a point for the serving team, 2-0. Inside. Second ball's a high ball for the opposite. Set of sets. Okay, it's a point here, but I want to repeat this action because I can always repeat the action. In my team, I prefer when the set is front that the middle blocker takes the free ball that's short to position 2. Okay, I want the opposite to hit. So we'll repeat. Okay, that was a non-scoring ball. That's a teaching moment. So it's a rotation. It's 1-2. This team's serving. Okay, the next one, the second ball is a ball at the 3-meter line for the setter to set what he wants. Okay, serve again. That's 2-2. Okay, second ball, 3-meter line, setter's choice. Middles are watching the hands, giving technical feedback also. Out, wash. So this side rotate and serve, still 2-2. The next one. Next one, the side out team has to score 2 balls. Second. Third. All right, point, rotation. Yep. Okay. Can you please make a service error this time? I'm waiting for these guys to make mistakes so I can do some corrections, but they keep not making them. Okay, serve again. Because my practice, most days, but not all days, I do a lot of things different from everybody else. One of them is that I almost never have blocked serve and reception practice. Little bits, 10 minutes here, 5 minutes there, but I very rarely do blocked serve and reception for a whole bunch of reasons that actually don't have time to go through. So in these games, I want that the receivers have the most possible opportunities to receive in combination with each other, so 3 players on the court. I want the servers to make their best serve, to have the freedom to make their best serve, because the first thing that happens in practice is there's a pressure on the server not to make a mistake, because the mistake breaks the drill down. It's much more important to make a good serve than for the drill to break down, whatever that means. And this is not a criticism, I coach professional world-class players who get to the drill and they make a 70% serve because they don't want to make an error and stop practice. So we normally have 2 chances to serve so that the server has practice and the receivers have practice that they don't otherwise get. We're on 2 balls for the side out team. Okay, free ball over the net. What's the objective of putting a free ball over the net? To put it to the centre. Alright, so I want to put the other team under pressure in some way. Putting the ball in the middle of the court for me is not under pressure, and I can take a risk because I already lost the free ball. So this time you put the ball over somewhere where you can get an advantage. Oh, it's already planning stuff over there. Where you can get an advantage, yeah. I stopped the play, yes, very good. What was the mistake? Yeah, I meant for the coach, the 100 coaches. I know you know, because he just told me. Okay, the thing that we practiced 2 minutes ago, the setter's front, the middle blocker takes the ball in position 2. Okay. What else? That was a serve over there. So serve again. It was a wash. 3-2. This time it'll be a free ball to that team. It has to be first tempo, the free ball against 1 block. Okay, free ball, first tempo, 1 block. Point over there. Let's do a reverse wash this time. So in this game, this is basically when you play any kind of 6 against 6 with a serve, there's a tendency to want to have the most complicated, the wash with the most balls, where the players work the hardest. And when I was a player, they were the drills that I loved the most. My favourite drill was one, as a player, was one where you kept getting the free ball until you had 8 points. I liked it because I was a little bit like my friend here, and I just wanted to spike all the time. So if I could spike 8 balls in 1 minute, that was my favourite drill. That's a great drill for making me happy, but it's not a very good drill for side out. So there's a good conditioning part of it, but the more balls that you add to the drill, the further you get it from side out, which is always something you have to keep in mind. So we do some drills where the confirmation ball, the ball that you have to get to win the rally, to win the point, is not the free ball, which is the normal way, but where you actually have to get the side out to win the point. So in this one, I give the first ball is a free ball to this team. The winner of the rally has to get a side out to win the point. So we play. Okay, they won the rally. This team serves, so they have one little point. Guys serve. Yep. Okay, it's a wash. They didn't make the side out. Okay. Yes. That's a good question. What do you think? He played the ball here, so it's probably in the grey area. So there are lots of grey areas, unfortunately. But that's why it's important that the players are looking at the same thing and thinking in the same way, so that when we come to the grey areas, they have the understanding between themselves how to react to it. Okay. What have I forgotten? Because we're actually running out of time. I've forgotten something about this. Wait. I have my notes that I actually didn't even look at. Bonus points. I go back to the beginning of the practice and what it is that I want to practice on any given day. And in this format, the 6 against, or this wash format where I'm scoring, I can give bonus points is one way to emphasise certain actions, certain behaviours, certain outcomes that you want. So for example, if I want to emphasise the first contact after defence and the work of the middle blocker to transition, I can give the bonus point for first tempo in transition. So in any rally, in any action, if the middle blocker scores on the first tempo, that team gets a point, even if everything else is a wash. I can do it for, I don't know, one other common one I do is if there's a block cover and I score directly after the block cover, that's, in most of my drills, that's a direct point. So I want to emphasise the work in cover. Again, you can do whatever you want to emphasise on that day, you can make as the bonus point. So those are the highlights. As I said, if you walk into my training on nearly any day, you'll see that. Pretty much it. That's my practice. Those are all of my drills.